teacher go to school?
And here's your...
What do you think of what's going on right now, mate?
These evil little invisible parasites.
Satan-worshipping Freemason moron.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
We're not run by factions.
Get the fuck out of camera!
There are much more powerful international forces in play.
Is this pink eye? Is this what pink eye is? I don't fucking know what's happening.
Please go outside and look at the moon quickly.
It's been crazy, guys, but guess what? It's how it is, mate.
Mate, because I want to do you slowly.
But I ain't spending any time on it.
Welcome to the Conditional Release Program, a podcast that delves into the netherworld of cults, crims and con artists. I'm Jack the Insider, otherwise known as Peter Hoisted for tax purposes.
And I'm Joel Hill, and today we have brainworms. Slow it down a bit. We've got to take our time because we're on worm time now.
I forget things now.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've got brainworms. Worms have eaten our brains, but we're still not as crazy as Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Just give it a fucking week, mate. And I've also got earworms. I've got the Bunnings jingle on repeat in my head since Saturday. I mean...
Nah, there's only one cure for that, Joe.
Oh, yeah?
AC/DC's riffraff on 11 3 times through a pair of decent headphones.
Ooh,
You'll never hear that Bunnings jingle again. You'll never hear anything again. Earworm gone. Trust me on this. I wouldn't lie to you or our listeners who buy you free beer or something.
Our listeners do not buy me free beer. I know where the free beer comes from, and it is the Lords at CB Co. But of course, the only cure for brainworms is beer. So this is actually medicinal. And while hippies will try to sell you colloidal silver, I'm here to sell you gold. Goldie, that is.
Goldie.
Yeah, so Goldie is CB Co's new lager, and it's actually quite good. It's a kind of beer that Jack likes. You can take from that.
Well, I wouldn't know, Joel. I haven't tried it.
Well, yes, because when I bring you beer, you never take it home. Anyway, we'll get a squabble about that after the podcast. But look, I assure you that it contains little to no actual gold.
I think that's
probably.
important, just in a truth in advertising sort of way.
I don't.
Actually, you won't get any gold out of this.
Look,
to me, it sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And I'd give it a huge swerve if I was you, listeners. We are looking at a new sponsorship deal from Big Tobacco. They have got a lot of money. I think Joel knows this, and they are lovely people. Get to do with them. There are a few restraints on advertising the gaspers these days. So let's just say, listeners, if you did just pop out and buy a pack of the things you gave up about 20 years ago and started up again, well, it's not as if we told you to do it or anything. We'll run past the lawyers.
Well, speaking of lawyers, vaccination litigant has quit smoking for 6 months now?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So now, after your shitty little not advertising, very similar to the Cossacks.
Sorry, Vaxi. Sorry.
You know, fucking, unconfirmed.
Hey, we didn't do anything, Joel. Remember?
Vaxi, I fully endorse you suing him. Not me. Well, look, now that Vaxi hates us, we don't have lawyers. We only have me, who is statutorily obligated.
You're a law-talking guy.
No, I am a student at law. I am told at like the first week to not call myself a lawyer ever. But we do have a begging bowl, which helps get this thing over the line because for as little as $5 a month, you can access all sorts of bonus content that's not available to your average lunch pail slob, which I quite like. You know, the working man is a sucker, but if you're going to work for us and give us money.
Most of them drive those oversized utes and are complete pigs. Anyway,
you can buy
the
us
sort of
so
content
much
you'll
with that.
get is exotic black label sort of stuff below the counter, under the counter.
Yeah, it's
Ask
fancy.
for it. Sometimes it's very rude, sometimes utterly disgusting, but we can't live our lives in cheap regret because we have to get on. And that means it's time for the Conditional Release Program's weekly news.
Hey! Now, I just want to mention after the break that the Patreon episodes are really good because they are sometimes quite actionable, but to put a defamation through, you'd really have to have a lot of listeners, and we don't have a lot of listeners. So what I can say is, please join the Patreon, but not too many of you, because if too many of you do it, you'll ruin the whole fucking thing.
Unchained. That's what we should be calling it.
Really? Okay, we'll start at zero
Black
again.
Label episodes.
Episode 1,
Joel
Unchained. Fuck's sake.
Well, off we go with the news. Whatever happened to hippies? They got old. They got beat up, and they decided to run for president of the United States. Mm-hmm. Hippies are back in their suits and coiffed hipster beards, running around causing havoc in strife-torn American politics, pushing the prudential Hippies are back in their suits and coiffed hipster beards, running around causing havoc in strife-torn American politics, pushing the presidential credentials of Robert Kennedy Jr.
For every Woodstock, there is an Altamont. For every Ken Casey, a Charlie Manson. And when the hippie band of choice, the Grateful Dead, arrived at Altamont Speedway in December 1969, Garcia et al. Immediately sensed something was amiss, determined the mood of the crowd was somewhere between riotous and homicidal, and decided wisely to do a runner. And it is said that Garcia didn't even get out of the helicopter. Fuck, they lived large back then, didn't they? Now people are catching actual buses, not tour buses, state transit.
Hippies stayed on, only to discover their free love mantra and Hessian undergarments were no match for an ebullient Hells Angels. The Stones caught the last chopper out of Altamont, leaving the Angels to finish off the catering and the hippies.
Ooh, now they fly to the relative safety of Costa Rica for ayahuasca binges to find inner meaning, which I, of course, fully endorse. Everyone should do it. Now, it should have ended there for hippies as a political force, but they're back and they want Robert Kennedy Jr. to sit in the White House. I was brought up by these people, I swear to God. Kennedy's policies include cutting all US funding to Ukraine and spending the Putin appeasement gains on something the kid from Kennebunkport calls healing farms for the millions of Americans addicted to opioids. Make methadone, not war, people. That's the new slogan, which we'll never adopt.
In early May, a report in the Wall Street Journal of chaos and mayhem on the RFK Jr. campaign trail featured this delicious tidbit. Several staffers, and I quote, several staffers fear the electromagnetic radiation from microwave ovens, complicating a volunteer potluck. Potluck is kind of a casserole dinner. And
everyone brings a dish, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on the Kennedy gravy train, potluck or casserole suppers, if you're an Australian, must be eaten tepid to avoid being irradiated by a household appliance commonly found in the kitchen since the late 1960s. Perhaps the air fryer is conspiring with a toaster, and I don't like the look of the coffee machine one little bit.
It fucks with me all the time, every morning.
In the middle of the campaign, Kennedy's director of messaging, Charles Eisenstein, took leave to travel to, you guessed it, Costa Rica with the intention of reconnecting with spirit.
Oh,
There's some ayahuasca there, wouldn't there, Joe? You reckon?
Good. I fully endorse this. Everyone should do it.
There have been claims of sexual harassment among campaign staff,
No,
and the
don't do
hippie
that.
brigade appears to have no particular interest in what Biden voters like and dislike about Biden, or what Trump voters like and dislike about the Donald.
No,
So this is kind of
strategies for
important
losers.
stuff. If you know
Yeah.
what they like and what they don't like, then you can pitch to them.
Yeah.
Maybe take them away from it, but they're not interested in that.
No. Funny, I wonder how that is. Maybe this is all complete bullshit. Anyway, look, rather the campaigners opted to paint the septuagenarian as heroically fit and youthful, a much more heroically fit and youthful option over the two older men who are
horrible older men.
septioctors. Anyway, look, to be fair, he is very fit. It's not steroids, though. Let's put that up right now. It's not steroids, but testosterone supplements, which is, I'm getting some medical advice here. That's what steroids kind of are. Anyway, nice guns. Shame about the nuts, but nice guns.
Last week, the man Donald Trump now simply refers to as Junior,
Uh-huh.
told the New York Times that a worm had entered his cranium and gnawed away at his brain before dying somewhere en route to the presidential hopeful's hypothalamus.
It's a long walk.
When a candidate is trying to prove his health and youth, RFK Jr. is a mere stripling at 70 years of age, maybe tone down the worm ate my brain rhetoric, you know? But Bobby couldn't let it go with just one brain-eating worm. He took to X with an offer too silly to ignore.
Quote, I offer to eat 5 more brainworms and still beat President Trump and President Biden in a debate, the Kennedy Post read. Quote, I feel confident in the result even with a 6-worm handicap. Ha ha, very funny.
Forget the debates, folks. RFK Jr. thinks the presidency can be won or lost on the 6-brain worm challenge.
Oy.
More tequila slammer drinking competition than will of the people. Really, it's just like, I can suck down more than you.
Yes, exactly. I will take 7 concussions and then I'll debate, Gerard Rennick. I mean, like, what? Okay, cool. Anyway. So, look, I would say, on balance, RFK Jr. is probably smarter with worms in his brain. Gram for gram, they are probably an intellectual match with the actual brain matter in there, despite his glowing past of being a trial lawyer. And his only other malady that I've heard of is he has a very ironic case of mercury poisoning.
He did. He was eating a lot of fish, yes.
He was. Tuna fish. So he tells his flock of idiots that the mercury in vaccines, which is in the form of thimerosal, which they go on about the blood-brain barrier, ironically something a worm just walked straight past. This is going to give you the autism. He doesn't really say that, but Wakefield does, and he kind of enables the claim. He got mercury poisoning because he said he really likes tuna fish sandwiches.
There you go.
That's what we're dealing with here, guys. This guy is a fucking idiot.
Well, he keeps talking about safe levels and unsafe levels of mercury. He has no idea about that. So
he's demonstrated that.
He actually put forward a sort of an absolute limit for young children.
Yeah,
but children will absorb mercury, ethyl mercury, methyl mercury in mother's milk, basically.
Yeah, really.
And so this is the way. If you want to avoid mercury absorption, then you have to leave the planet.
Yes, I have heard that claim. Yeah.
And RFK kind of has, in a way.
Well, no, he hasn't, because there's one place you can find tuna fish sandwiches, and that is God's green earth, and he has been making the fucking most of it because that gave him mercury. Anyway,
must have been on those big slabs, the big yellow tails, just.
I'm guessing basically his day went like this: a
couple of slices of bread.
Inject testosterone into your thigh, go and work out, eat protein in the form of tuna fish sandwiches, and then write things on the internet. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go fucking wrong? Anyway, so often photographed with sleeves rolled up, show he's prepared to get to work and also show off his massive forearms.
No, that's what it is. It's politicians, when they do the sleeves rolled up thing, that's exactly what they're trying to say.
Yeah, but he's also showing how sexy his forearms are.
We are doing whatever's required here.
Exactly. He's going to take them to healing farms. He's going to take them with his forearms to healing farms. He's going to carry them. That's what I'm trying to say here. That's what the testosterone's for. Anyway, look, this is the issue here because you see, Kennedy, with his sleeves rolled up, isn't really getting to work, is he? He sort of more manages to look like he's about to receive an intravenous injection. Now, why would that be? See,
if you're going to roll your sleeves up, that's kind of that can be what's going to happen.
I think doing intravenous heroin could be getting to work because the famous anti-vaxxer cannot be a needle phobic.
No.
Because otherwise, how else could we explain his 12-year addiction to heroin, which ended in 1984? Great year to quit heroin, my birth year, following a single felony count charge for heroin possession. How can we explain that? I think he's rolling up his sleeves to get to work, mate. Get to work on his gains.
He was a very naughty child.
Yes.
And he has been skating through as sort of none of the above candidate in an election where Americans are faced with an ageist sort of Hobson's choice.
The fuck is
old
Hobson's
guy
choice?
or the older guy.
Okay.
His polling hit a high water mark back in December last year with almost a quarter of the vote. A shade more in the crucial swing state of Michigan. I think it was just on 26% there.
Jesus.
24 was elsewhere. Since then, he languished at 12% in the polls,
That's his
declining further to 10% on polling average over the last couple of months, proving that the more people see of him, the less they like.
But look at his arms. Look at his great arms. He's rolled up his sleeves. He's showing you. He's beautiful. Anyway, so according to RFK Jr.'s campaign, the Kennedy ticket will appear on the ballot in all 50 states, which is a Costa Rican jungle ayahuasca-level delusion. It ain't going to happen. I don't care what the Madre told you. I don't care what the vision said. Ballot status has been confirmed or will shortly in 6 states, which includes Utah, Michigan, California, Delaware, Oklahoma, and Texas. And when not paralyzed in fear of microwave ovens, his staffers claim he will appear on the ballot in New Hampshire, Nevada, Hawaii, North Carolina, Idaho, Nebraska, Iowa, and Ohio.
Yeah, there's only a couple of swing states there. Michigan, important, North Carolina, Nevada, New Hampshire, in a way, and a lot of college votes to be had there, but it is a swing state. Texas, of course, now hasn't been a swing state, neither has Ohio for some time. But Texas is changing a little bit. And if he dips in there with his 10%, it's more likely than not to flip it blue.
Which they've talked about for a while.
Certainly those states may come into play for the race for 270 electric college votes and the
Yeah.
presidency.
If it's
Polling
close.
shows he is taking more votes from Trump than Biden at this early stage. We've talked about this a bit, but it's actually a little bit unclear what's going on. It seems to be that he's taking votes off them in deep red states, votes off Trump.
Yeah.
Perhaps the answer lies in Trump's increasingly disparaging remarks, but there is a long way to run. Trump will only bag someone he regards as a threat, you see.
Yes, exactly.
Biden and Trump have no pressing issues on money to run major campaigns, while Kennedy is burning money he doesn't have every day just by getting out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Will he be Trump's Ross Perot or Joe Biden's Ralph Nader? Appearing on the ballot in Texas, for example, as I just said, would either see Texas remain red or shift to light blue.
Ooh.
Big state, lots of college votes.
Yeah,
The
it's an interesting
demographics
one.
of the state are changing, and Kennedy's candidacy could kick along a shift in political affiliation not seen since his uncle's successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, a Texan, won the state.
Really?
We'll know in 6 months. A win, a loss, or a draw for Trump or Biden is too difficult to predict at this point.
I've put money on it.
But we can safely say that by then, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s political career will be worm fodder, and the hippies have been beaten again. Take that, free love. Look, I didn't see Aurora Borealis, a cosmic light show of fruity colours, sent to us by our old enemy, the sun.
Fuck you.
It was wet where I was. It almost always is.
Yes.
Cloudy as fuck, and I missed all of it. Also, the footy was on.
Yeah, it was
But,
shitty as well.
and I hasten to say, I did see the images on screen, and they were deeply troubling. Blues, purples, hot pinks, vermilions, Joel, vermilions.
This sounds a bit fancy.
It's funny how most straight blokes have such a poor lexicon for colour, isn't it? It's bluey red, purpley brown.
Yeah.
They don't say vermilion much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some Crayola shit.
Straight blokes don't say puce.
No, we fucking don't. We don't own puce. We don't have
never
puce.
say, wait for it, aureolum.
The fuck is that? You're starting to show your true colours.
Ever. And I do. And maybe that was a sign because I am gay now. I wasn't sure, to be honest, but all those colours all at once on the screen just flipped me.
Aha.
I didn't want to necessarily. It's been very hard on the wife. But I'm gay now.
Oh, good. Look, I'm happy to see you're out. And if it took a little bit of a star shower to show you the true way, then I'm happy to see it. Now, I'm just going to say, don't get me fucking started on cunts making turquoise for teal.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's wrong.
That's another segment, but I'm telling you right now, they were turquoise. They're still turquoise, and they are not teal. Teal is a darker green colour that is like an aqua
All right,
colour.
Joel. All right, calm down.
Sake.
Well, we've had this conversation. Aurora Borealis, essentially a sun fart. That's what it is.
It kind of
sun
is,
builds up a lot of gas and then just has to, lift up the leg and go, oh, have a bit of that.
So is the sun fart, is that the Santorum that sprays across the skies or?
Well, we've got lots of answers for that, Joel.
Okay, good.
None
good.
of them true.
No, good. That's what we're
So
here
the sun
for.
fart has turned everybody gay because of woke. To be honest, I should have done it years ago, just for the disposable income alone. I have seen the lights, Joel. My personal favourite among all of this sort of nonsense about how Aurora Borealis was making us gay comes from a particularly troubled soul on Twitter or X, known as Boring Trousers, whose interests include soccer and soccer hooliganism. Joel.
Close my fucking curtains, load of woke shit. That feels very British.
It's very British.
Just
I
very,
think.
just, don't bother
Very
me.
British. One of the solar system's great events. And close my fucking curtains. Load of woke shit.
Just don't want a fucking bar of it. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. And look, when it comes down to it, we have to say as a general disclaimer, we don't know if people are kidding or being facetious in these things. But what we can say is that A, we find the concept very funny, and B, who fucking knows anymore? Who
it's pretty hard to
knows?
know. It was hard to pick the ones that weren't tripping an iron. I'm going to say Boring Trousers. Oh, not sure.
I think it was
he was
bullshit.
serious.
I think
anyway,
he was serious.
There was this from an American. A man so bored with his own mindless existence, he decided to turn his back on what everyone agrees who's gay now. It was a terrific light show. It's still going on in the Northern Hemisphere if you think you're turning gay, Joel.
Ooh, that's nice, because I haven't quite closed my door on it. Norm MacDonald always said that they were a decadent people. And to be honest, I don't mind a bit of decadence, so I'm kind of down with this. Yeah.
Well, what did our American friend, not Norm MacDonald, who has passed, but our American friend, Joel, what did he say about Aurora Borealis?
I didn't see the Aurora Borealis because I'm not about that gay shit.
He's not about that gay shit. It's not. He respects it, but he's just not about it.
I must say, I did look at this person's profile, and I think they might be really into that gay shit, but I still really liked the quote because I thought it was very funny.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that guy is not saying vermilion ever, Joel.
Oh, well, I au contraire, I think that person has a vermilion suit.
Yeah, look, another with this one may have been ironic, so we won't name and shame. But he said, "I'm sorry, but if you're watching the Aurora Borealis, you're gay." Definitely not a post from a jealous Floridian where they had none.
No, exactly. And I was jealous, like I really, really wanted to see it. But let's just get into the deep weeds of this. With the Floridian here, what is the Australian equivalent of Florida man? The Florida man, the crocodile-eating, sandal-wearing meth
Florida
head.
man was arrested today. A Florida man has been shot dead by police. A Florida man, there's lots of, When you hear the phrase a Florida man, nothing really very good happens after that. So what's the Australian equivalent, you reckon, Joel?
I'm not sure. What I will say is quickly that the one place that I found a broken meth pipe in my hotel room was Orlando, Florida. It's only happened once.
That checks out.
When I went to the front desk and complained about it, they looked puzzled that I was complaining. And I'm like, you realize this is bad, right? Like, it's a broken meth pipe on my bathroom floor. I had a bath and I had to walk around. This isn't...
That's because you're not a Florida man, Joel.
You should be surprised.
Well, Dan Illich suggested Florida man, the Australian equivalent of that would be an economy passenger on the Virgin Blue Red Eye to Bali.
Well, yeah.
Straight out of Brizzy.
Yeah, exactly. I would argue maybe from Cairns, but yes.
No, I don't think they do it. Well, they might do it direct from Cairns these days. I don't know. They certainly do from Brizzy, Joel, and it would be immersing yourself in a foreign culture just being on aboard that plane.
I went on a cruise ship that left from Cairns for my stepmother's 60th, and it was a floating RSL, and the most eventful thing was a racially motivated fight. But hey, I got a friend. The black dude and I became mates after that. It was because he was being too lippy during the footy. It was a very interesting place to be. Anyway, I don't want to digress too hard. This is a Black Label.
I just don't understand why more people don't go on cruises, Joel. I mean, what are your choices there? Basically, gastro, COVID, or being beaten up.
Everyone got a cold
assaulted.
And just drank through it. Everyone was sniffing and just drinking. It was a very strange experience. I would do it again, but I must say I would do it slightly differently, and I would definitely use a lot more fucking hand sanitizer.
All right. Well, back to Aurora Borealis.
Yes.
Just a lesser event on the cosmic scale, Joel, than
equally
your cruise.
Gay.
But it did occur nevertheless, and it really did fuck with flat earthers.
Yes, of course.
Can you imagine? This is not a good time to be a flat earther when Aurora Borealis is on.
It's really not.
And they had to contort themselves on their digestive systems. Got their guts in a knot. Yep. Trying to explain it or calling bullshit on any piece of evidence that makes their belief system a fucking laughingstock. I did see this. The Aurora forecast was on Fox 4, and this got published or republished by Jen's Biblical Flat Earth Academy on Facey.
Excellent. I love it.
And there's the Fox 4 Aurora forecast saying high visibility really across Chicago, Seattle, what these flat, what these things, this is on top of a sphere, flat earthers. Anyway, so there's some lovely responses to this. How can the Jen's Biblical Flat Earth Academy popped up the Aurora forecast from Fox 4 and said, how can they predict stuff like this? It's a fair question, don't you think? But Tiffany said if they can predict it, they are creating it.
Aha.
See? There's the logic there. Same
Now we're
with weather
talking.
and eclipse. eh?
Now we're talking.
In my opinion. In just in
LED
your opinion.
lights. If you can do it in the Vegas sphere with U2 and Fish, you can do it on the flat Earth.
It's just her opinion, Joel. She's just putting it out there.
Well,
Renee
she-
said,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just posted this on another thread, but the NOAA, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is run under the US Department of Commerce.
Ah, it's a corporation.
So I agree that if they can predict it, they're making it. Terrific grammar there. But I think we understand what she's trying to say.
well,
From
yeah,
Renee's having a go.
more a scientist than a grammatician.
And then finally, Lindsay comes along. My God, this made me laugh when I looked at it. Lindsay comes along and says, kind of seems like it just came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Where would it come from?
I mean, no one was talking about it last week, and now people are talking about it. So what's all that about?
Yeah, I don't like it, mate. I think I like these things to have, a trailer. I want them
time.
to, maybe a warning come from the sky.
Tough times.
Countdown.
For flat earthers.
Just fucking cool. Anyway.
Tough times. Tough times. And I wonder how our good mate down in Melbourne got on. The Blood Moon guy.
Thanos.
Yes.
Yes.
He'd have to. Don't go outside, Thanos. It'll freak you out, man.
I hear him so many times on the Tinfoil Tales intro talking about the blood moon. Oh, I don't know, but like, the sky doesn't look right, mate. It's just like...
Has anyone seen the moon look like this before? Well, obviously, Aurora's going to really mess with him. And it's also messing with our friends, the chemtrailers. The chemical the people who believe in the chemical geoengineering of the weather, Joel.
Yep.
Lost their fucking fragile minds again, claiming Aurora Borealis was basically a planet-sized poisonous sludge that made a gargantuan waft of toxic air in various noxious hues, the length and breadth, but not the diameter of the planet.
Fucking sprayed here. Maybe some cloud seeding, get clear out the skies, and I could have bloody seen it. Very
The
disappointing.
length and breadth, but not the diameter of the
No,
planet. I didn't
no.
quite spit that out. It's good line.
Well, look, when it comes down to it, you've got to know your breadths and diameters.
I particularly enjoyed this post, and this is from Geoengineering Watch in South Africa, where they'd just be looking out from their homes all day long.
Yeah.
And this is pondered too. I think it's another facey. Was it Northern Lights or geoengineering gases?
Ooh.
And then he's
scary.
gone through the spectrum of gaseous colours.
Oh, nice. Someone went
And
to
you'll
high school.
notice there's a yellow, Joel. So when you're wondering about what's an aureole, that's a yellow. Anyway,
Is that what your bloody colour was?
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to contest this because I don't believe in any of that hogwash. I am not only awake, but I'm also smarter than you.
Well, let me run past this. Vermilion or red, you got your strontium salts, your lithium carbonate.
It's all made up shit.
Orange,
All
you
of
got
this-
calcium salts again.
No,
No, it's calcium salts, not strontium salts. Gold, you've got incandescence of iron.
gold.
Silver.
Jeez, that's expensive.
Silver is burning aluminium, titanium, or magnesium powder or flakes.
I don't need chemicals, mate.
That's what's causing the northern lights.
Do not need chemicals. All you need is radio waves. It's HAARP, mate. It's obviously HAARP. The reality is the Aurora Borealis is, of course, either the fault of Biden or a great achievement by the man, depending on how you see it, but he made it happen. And we know this because we have indisputable proof. Absolute
Well,
proof.
they've been spraying for so long, Joel. Something had to give.
Oh, come on. That's bollocks. Okay, so just try and contest this. This is absolute fucking proof. Fuckwit anti-vax Dr. Robert Malone threw HAARP Aurora May 10 into an AI program called Perplexity, and it told him, quote, on May 10th, 2024, HAARP conducted experiments to artificially create aurora-like glows or air glow in the ionosphere by exciting electrons with high-frequency radio waves. The making the invisible visible experiment lasted if hot electrons produced by HAARP's radio transmissions could create an aurora-like phenomenon called STEVE, Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement.
Now, HAARP.
Mm-hmm.
HAARP actually is dedicated to monitoring solar flares, etc.
That checks out.
And they did actually have to make a statement after this idiot came along, after Robert, anti-vax, we know Robert Malone,
Yes.
scumbag charlatan that it is. There was actually an exercise, but not the same thing. They weren't actually looking at aurora borealis at all.
No.
They were just doing their normal testing, and their testing is around sunflares. We actually do have to keep an eye on these things, Joel, because if they get much worse, basically
wipes out all our electronics.
Basically electromagnetic pulses just take the entire grid out, and that's pretty much where it comes to an end for most of us.
End of the podcast, that's for sure.
Yeah,
we can just go on a soapbox down Hyde Park.
Saying.
Are we too busy sourcing out canned food and shotguns to be podcasting, I'm afraid? So Steve does exist, which is pretty funny, but we're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into HARP. I'm just going to go into the fact that I'm right and you're fucking wrong, and that Steve's done a great job. I'm also perplexed by what Perplexity is. It's apparently a subscriber-based AI machine that I should probably find out more about, because, to be honest, it sounds a little bit silly.
This actually sounds a little bit made up.
Yes, it does a bit, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. So that's it. We know it's HARP. Robert Malone, who's never told a lie, has told us, and now I'm telling you, Jack, this is all a plan. It's part of a wider plan to light up us guys and make us all gay.
It's worked on me.
Well, I'm starting to see things in a very different shade. Vermilion, perhaps.
Don't worry, listeners. As I said, it's just a sun fart.
Okay.
Nothing more than the possibility of an EMP taking out every piece of electronics on the planet, rendering humanity into a roaming waves of rats navigating their way through the maze of crumbling civilization, coming to a shopping mall near you. Damn you, son! Damn you!
So, Dak, I know that you've stopped using Twitter to a certain extent. Your DMs are still open. You do respond to them. I've also started walking away from the neo-Nazi-filled shithole that is Twitter/X. But look, it's not even worth the bother anymore, because we are going to need a social license to post memes. Hardly worth the fucking bother.
It
just seems like a lot of bureaucracy to go and chat with Nazis about Nazi shit.
Yeah. And besides, Joel, those memes, they're kind of yours.
Oh.
That's your content.
You're going generational on me, mate. You calling me millennial? All right, boomer, get the fuck out of here. So look, this is something that just really annoyed me recently, and I'm putting in the script because it's just, I feel like it's a good example of why the post-truth era is just fucking beyond repair. And it's frustrating the shit out of me because, honestly, I don't think we can do democracy anymore. I think democracy might be dead. So I saw that John Ruddick had retweeted an Elon Musk tweet, and that's an alarm bell in the first instance, but with the caption, "Thank you, Elon," which is my second alarm bell and red flag. And I always assume that if John Boy's retweeted something, it's probably something very fucking stupid. Now, I don't think, just as a disclaimer, I don't think Ruddick himself is actually stupid, but I think he believes there's enough idiots in the electorate to keep him in a job, and he is politically fucking targeting them, and he's doing a fucking terrifyingly good job of it. I mean, you might well be right in that one. Oh, maybe another 8 years. So the tweet from Elon said, "I doubt that the people of Australia agree with suppressing their rights." And this was on top of another tweet, which was from another account, which I'm not going to bother naming, which said, "Update from Australia's PM. You're going to need a social license to post memes." And this was on top of the still picture of Albo saying, and this is like a quote, "But with social media comes the need for social license." Social license! How is this something that you're alarmed by? Social license. We have community standards. We have a general sense of what is right and what's wrong.
It's imposing my right to speak freely, Joe.
Yeah, to post child porn. For fuck's sake. So, look, this just feels like, obviously this wouldn't really fall in the remit of it, but it's exactly the kind of reason why we need fucking disinformation laws in the first place. Not that they're really going to work, mind you, but this is why we kind of need them. Because, let's just put this down to brass tacks here, right? Ruddick, he's a fucking parliamentarian. It seems like his duty to New South Wales teams to take a distant backseat to his eternal simping for Elon Musk and Javier Milei, the Argentinian cooked fucking libertarian president. It is incredibly sad, but the implication from this piece of absurd theatre is that Australia is about to make people get a social license to use social media. That's insane. Get a social license. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yes. But a social license is, it's not
It's a concept.
a physical thing.
No, it's not.
It's conceptual, as you say.
No, yeah, it's insane. Like, this is the thing that's so frustrating. So it's not that's not what he said, right? Like, he didn't mean to say you need to get a fucking license.
You need to go down to Centrelink and be photographed.
Yeah, exactly.
Be given your social license.
I like the fact that you got the right jurisdiction too. You didn't say Service New South Wales. You said Centrelink or Services Australia. That was really clever. I like that. You're a real federalist. So look, this is the thing that really pisses me off, right? Because there's all these countless fucking blue check accounts on the platform who are absolutely shocked by the idea that a country would force its citizens to get a license to post on social media. Oh my God, that's terrible. And this is what's unironically posted by the richest man in the world, or part thereof, who has recently said that he might start charging money to post on the platform to prevent bots. He's literally thinking of making a social license where you have to pay to post. But yeah, let's not think about that, right? We're going to simp for this guy because he occasionally says fucked up shit that we agree with. So this guy, we think, is taking us to Mars. He can't even fix the porn bot issue, so he's going to make us fucking buy a license to post.
A lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to die on Mars.
Nudes in my bio. That's all I have to say. So the Aussie Cossack tweeted this.
With social media comes the need for social license. Australian Prime Minister Albanese. Social license? What? WTF? World Trade? No. Oh, yeah.
What the
Who
fuck?
voted for this? I mean,
Yes.
let's just pause for a moment and ponder
Let's
who
ponder.
the Aussie Cossack would have voted for. He wouldn't have voted for the Liberal because he was harassing her. In fact, he was arrested
True.
for harassing her. That was Fiona Martin, I believe.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
And it's like,
Yeah.
like she lost the seat.
Yeah, in the West, yeah.
And so he wouldn't have voted for her. And I doubt that he would have voted Labor. Just can't see it. Oddly
can't
enough.
see it. No.
Can't see
no.
it. So
He
who
could have
would he voted
exhausted his
for?
Senate vote on complete nonsense. You can do that. It's
Oh,
not
of course
easy.
you can do whatever you like once you get your name ticked off. Oh, I'm just
That can't work.
Do you reckon he's gone for Clive's mob or maybe he's a One Nation guy?
I reckon a bit of that. A bit of both. And it would have
Yeah.
basically just exhausted, I imagine.
Well, what? It's just, who voted for this? Like we've got to do a quick head count every time a government makes a decision.
Well,
Did you vote for that? I didn't.
That's the thing. And that's like,
Do you understand the concept of a mandate, you fucking fat idiot?
Yeah. It's representative democracy. It's
Sorry.
responsible
Yeah, that's
government.
what he's
It's
missing out on.
Everything.
The guy's totalitarian to the bone. Laughs at Putin's oppression.
He's angry that people voted. That's the issue. Who voted for this? Who voted? This is bullshit. Oh my God, people are voting. We should fix that. That's got to be it. But anyway, look, so that's the sort of like,
that's
that's the spin.
Did anyone else weigh in?
Yeah. There was another dumb thing here. So you can read this crap.
Australia to introduce you see, now the Cossack, to his credit, has got it right. Has got the right use of license with the 2 C's rather than one with the S. You fucking idiot. We don't know who this guy is, or you do, but I don't. He's a dickhead. Australia to introduce a social license, CNENSE.
He might be American, to be honest.
He could be American. That would be the only get out. Australia to introduce a social license to post memes on social media. Elbow really, can't be if you're saying Elbow.
Yeah.
Elbow really doesn't like, no apostrophe, memes, and he think it undermines public safety. This is not satire. No shit, son.
Yeah.
It's not even well spelled.
Yeah. It's not funny, that's for sure. It's not smart either. But look, just to clarify this for anyone playing at home who heard my ranting and wondered, what the fuck is that guy talking about? This pretty much sums it up. And I don't think this is a good account. I had a look at the account and I was like, I'm not sure if he follows me, but I think maybe it's like a hate follow. I don't know.
He said, please don't make defend Elbow. I mean, he sounds like a caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't make defend Elbow in this, but social license to operate is a term to do with trust by the general public, not a literal social media license to post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. That sums it up really well. Like, I couldn't have said it better myself, except I would have possibly used all the necessary words to form the sentence.
Yes, putting just a couple missing there that just made those sentences just really stand out. Yeah.
The only response there was from John McGowan, who is the guy who we saw at the pub with oh no, I said too much anyway. Anyway, so but he's also an ex-boyfriend of a friend of mine from Sydney University, which is very funny. I've had drinks with him anyway. So look, what do? We live in a world full of idiots and they fucking vote, right? But also, like, parliamentarians, influential figures, they appear to be using this stupidity against them for personal gain, using their position of authority to convince idiots to believe in things that are completely divorced from reality for their own fucking personal benefit. I mean, this is mental.
This is just it. I mean, Elbo's just thrown up the concept of a social license around posting. And they've all gone for the shit. Now I'm going to have to go and stand out at Services Australia now, Joel, not Centrelink.
Yeah,
so
Australia.
Have to stand out. And so Elbo's probably thinking, hey, I might be able to get away with this.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, they've basically done the policy launch, right? I mean, it's so frustrating. So you've got Ruddock, who's trying to get re-elected in a few years, and you've got Elon Musk, who's trying to basically get the country on side because of his bloody ridiculous fight against the e-safety commissioner. And it's like, fuck me, really? Like, do we stand a chance here? Because it just seems like the world is being weaponized against us, and we have an army of idiots who are willfully participating in their own fucking demise. Do we stand a chance? Should we just take a bunch of drugs and die before it gets any worse? I could flush out my savings. I could have a good year, a Nicolas Cage leaving Las Vegas year.
Leave a pretty corpse. Well, you know.
No, it wouldn't be pretty. I probably would get very suntanned by the end of it, where I did the windscreen washing.
Quite a lot of poo in your trousers.
There would be at the last bit.
Your body onto a gurney.
Well, if I ate anything for the last month, that's for sure.
Cows have fucking masks on.
Everybody is up for the high jump if they deserve it. If they deserve to hang, they will hang.
Rise up, Australia. Men of Australia, time to step up and be real men. Protect your kids or go down biggest cowards this country has ever seen. Hang that animals.
And many of our fine listeners would be very aware of the current split between Dave Guru Graham and Lieutenant Colonel Ricardo White Hats, bro. Bosi. If you want to get the actual scoop on what the hell is going on, listen to the latest Tinfoil Tales, which covers it in excellent detail. Oh, yeah. It's called Emergency Minisode. Is this the downfall of Bosi?
It's kind of not, too. That's one of the things. It's sort of not. There's a split now, but it did look like it was going to be the downfall of Bosi because, damn, a lot of people are against him.
Like every right-wing fringe political party in existence in Australia for the last 100 years. Sorry.
People in politics
so predictable.
tend to like bickering,
so
but
predictable.
The reasons why are troubling. So another shout out content-wise, the usual Cooker Watchers in general, but Cooker Watch herself has a great video where David Attenborough explains his shit show in a beautiful and terrifying piece of AI brilliance. It's really quite good. It's about 7 minutes. It really sums up the situation.
I must check that out.
Quite quickly. It's good. It explains it all quite nicely, whereas the Tinfoil Tales one goes in a bit more detail, which I like.
Yes. While they did a much better job than we will, we still need to touch on this because we would be basically negligent not to.
Yeah.
This is a very, very funny situation, and we know you guys love Cooker updates despite our best efforts to keep this podcast highbrow and politically engaging.
Yes, just as I crack a beer, that's exactly what we're going for. It's very good. But this is very funny, and look, here we go, right? And I'm going to hopefully get this right. I'm sure I'm going to fuck this up in heaps of ways, but you can listen to Tinfoil Tales, get it right properly. We're going to have a crack. So Bosi and Guru are having an argument. And why? Well, Guru was putting completely inappropriate expenses on the campaign account. What could that be? Oh, that sounds a bit suspect. Maybe some hookers like the old Craig Thompson. No, it's fuel and pancakes. Okay. Just to mention a few. Pancakes and fuel. Just to mention a few. But they're the big ones.
Pancake on the donors.
I mean, like, this raises the questions. Like, did he go and buy a kilo of fucking white wings for $4? Did he buy it at IGA? And was it $6?
I reckon he's gone to Pancake Parlour. There must be something of that, something close to that in Wollongong.
Yeah, there would have been a receipt, the indicting receipt. Oh, extra bacon.
By the way, who'd win? Who'd win? And a stand-up stink between Bosi and Guru wouldn't last long, would it?
Bosi would destroy him. Guru has a giant cancer on his lip. I don't know how he's still alive. Yeah, Bosi would win for days. And all the training as well.
It amuses me.
There is an age gap, but I mean, Bosi'd have like 20 kilos.
And he's been on the pancakes.
He's been on the fucking pancakes. While Bosi is out trying to save the world eating rice and fucking onions, this scrote cunt is dining on these delicious, fluffy fucking pancakes.
Bitch, he's into the maple syrup and everything, Joe.
Well, look, he mentioned fuel and pancakes in the same sentence, so maybe he put the fuel on the pancakes. We don't have the full story here. We shouldn't be commenting unless you have the full story.
You never know.
So look, we don't know what he's got in there. Maybe he opted for the extra bacon. Like I say, $4, that's not acceptable. You could have lived without the bacon, mate. Don't be fucking greedy. We've got the world to save.
That's
Every
right.
dollar counts. More cornflakes.
Exactly right. And you're just treating yourself to let them eat pancakes.
Yeah, exactly. So you know how Bosi says he has intel, right? The white hats are doing stuff. Yeah. He's saving the kids with fucking white hat Trump knowledge, blah, blah, blah. Gets his intel from these high-level sources like General Flynn, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know. I mean, a lot of people know more than I do about this sort of thing, but it's that rhetoric, right? Turns out he didn't actually make it all up.
No.
He didn't make it up. He didn't
just whiteboard it and then write a script and...
No, Bosi did not make all that up. His wife did. Or apparently we should say his bride. Apparently he calls her his bride.
Yeah, that's
a very sort of women of property vibe.
I have heard it used, yes.
I just use partner. Like she's my emergency contact, right? But like if she was my wife, I'd just call my wife because she'd be my wife. Anyway.
Mike Pence, apparently it wasn't true, but that was the call on him was that he used to call his wife mother. Now that's weird. But he said he actually said no.
I don't have a daughter,
manly man,
but
I don't want to fuck my mother.
If I had a daughter and she was of age, and I had a tryst with someone, I wouldn't say you remind me of my daughter like Trump did with Stormy Daniels. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
That's an entire psychiatric symposium all on its own.
Digressing hard. So, according to Franco, who is a character we're going to talk about through this podcast, or through this segment, he spilled the beans on Beck Freedom's relatively new podcast that apparently his bride, Rhiannon, will be pissed as a newt and simply channeling information. And where
Got
from?
the Ouija board out? Got the Ouija board out and all that sort of stuff, apparently?
Don't need to, mate. She is a Ouija board. She does it. She does it all. It's all good, mate. Don't worry.
You just point her north and off you go.
You just ask her questions, mate. She answers them. Are the white hats in charge? Yes, Rick. The white hats are in charge. Are the kids safe? Not all of them, but some of them, and they thank you. Oh, cool. Well, that's good.
To action.
Good to have some progress. Feeling good about myself now. Okay, cool. Case fucking closed.
Yeah, Cooker Watch also dug up some videos that shows he has another high-level source, a Cooker psychic named Janine. She's way out there. She's got the Ouija board out. No worries.
There's a lot going on. She
knows where all the bodies are buried from about the 14th century. You know, between the 14th and 15th century, then she has no clue. But those 2 centuries there, she knows where all the bodies are buried.
Exactly. But if you dig them up, you got to remember that sometimes they get moved.
Which, of course, she was an aristocrat in the 14th century, not one of your peasants like, your forebears and mine, Joel.
Exactly. No, I actually come from lots of money. It's just that it all got spent. It's a real shame. Anyway. So now, most reasonable people already knew that Bosi was full of shit, but for some people, that has actually come as a shocking surprise.
My God. He's
I
pulling this straight out of a psychic named Janine, who may or may not be doing the horoscopes at Women's Weekly.
Yeah, and his wife. I mean, look, to be fair, my mum wrote a book based on the Sabian symbols, which was a woman who had lost all of her faculties and was basically given, I think she was given cues in the way of like symbols and degrees.
Gee, that would have run off the shelves, wouldn't it?
It didn't go great, but that's a whole other story. Penguin New York published it, but it didn't go great.
Was it commercially published?
Yeah, it's published by Penguin New York and who else? I'm the only person in my immediate family who's not published. Dad's published by HarperCollins. Mum's published by Penguin New York. My sister's published by Black Ink. And, God knows fucking what else. And there's little old me just sitting around twiddling his dick and self-publishing a nonsense podcast.
World needs ditch diggers too, Joel.
Yeah. Anyway, we are digressing so hard. Tinfoil Tales is so much better. So basically, apparently Bosi and Rhiannon lodged with this Franco guy, this hairdresser guy, and paid them something like $800 for 5 weeks of rent, which is not bad for Bosi, but it sounds like he was almost annoyed to pay it.
But flick, he's been given his marching orders again.
Yeah, and they've got a weird thing where they're going to NCAT. Cooker Watch dug that up, I think, anyway. We won't go into that. But the generosity stops there when apparently Bosi's bride asked Franco to give her a Melania Trump look, and Franco joked that he wasn't a plastic surgeon. Bit rude.
Yeah, well,
Fighting words. No good.
You can't perform miracles.
That's pretty much what he was trying to say. And look, yeah, I think Tinfoil Tales going into this, and he was probably more saying that Melania looks like she's had a lot of work done. That's really the thing, because I don't think he was saying anything mean.
I thought she meant attractive.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
In a kind of Melania Trump way.
Yeah, I mean, look, could be worse. So, look, Beck Freedom got involved and interviewed Franco and basically called out Bosi for being full of shit. Of course, she's going to side with Guru, despite the fact that he clearly stole pancakes.
He did.
And fuel. Terrible things to do on a campaign.
I'm okay with the fuel. I just think the pancakes just wrong.
Hey, man's got to eat. If you're on the Hastings, you got to fucking eat. He never had a chance to get in.
Maybe he uses to suck up the pus on his lip.
Yeah, he uses
them like giant bandages.
God, it's going to kill him. Anyway, so look, this lines up more with Beck's general approach, which seems to be centered around the sort of save the kids charade of transphobia more than the usual sort of cooked white hat shit. She's more into that sort of side of things than the really cooker stuff. So she may be trying to become more mainstream in order to broaden her audience and maybe go from that sort of fringe kook.
She might sort of chip into the One Nation area.
Yeah.
And then she could sort of tippy-toe into Clive Palmer's lot. And then there's really nowhere for her to go.
I would not be surprised if she turned up on ADH TV, at least as a guest.
No,
well, look, I don't know. I don't know. But one post in Telegram suggests that she's being paid by Craig Kelly.
They've got viewers.
Well, yes. Yeah. At least they've got money. So, look, no, thank you, patrons. We love you. So, look, it's a little bit suspicious, apparently, that she spoke at the recent One Nation rally against digital ID. I don't really think it's that suspicious, but it sounds like she's in cahoots with Craig. There's lots of ideas of money floating around. Apparently, her and Jesse went and did some things. God forbid, bought some presents for the kids.
Pancakes?
Well, I mean, I hope not. It's just more problems.
Let's not
it's
get into
just more
that
problems.
cul-de-sac.
So I reckon she's in it for clout myself. But I have no real basis for any of this. I don't. One of the things about the movement and outside of the movement anywhere is that everyone likes to say that everyone's getting paid. We're not fucking getting George Soros money. I wish we were. I would totally accept it. But it's really frustrating when everyone's like, oh, everyone's getting paid.
Big pharma money. That's what I'm after.
Well, big pharma money. I want what's that healing pharma money?
The big tobacco thing does pan out. We're probably going to need big pharma money after that.
You're going to need big pharma money because we're just going to get free smokes and I'm going to give them to you. And you're going to be fucked. I have to find a new co-host in 5 years. So Australian One members, including the hairdresser Franco, have got emails explaining that there is an investigation being conducted. Ooh. And as a result of their public behaviour, they have been removed. But they've been removed from the Australia One supporter list.
I know. I saw someone getting their marching orders and just getting you have been suspended.
Isn't that sad?
You may be permanently suspended, but at the moment you're just temporarily suspended. We'll let you know, or maybe we won't if you're permanently suspended.
Well, that's exactly what happened. So basically, at first it was temporary, and then he told them, oh yeah, fucking bring on the investigation, whatever. They said that due to communication since the meeting, it is with immediate effect and permanently.
Permanently now. Ooh.
Oh no. So not only that, but they're not, Franco, etc., are not authorised to represent themselves as an A1 supporter. That's a shame. I can't imagine they're exactly still an A1 supporter, to be fair. Attend A1 rallies, okay, or wear their cool merch.
Well, what happens if they do? Just Ricky Bosi just turns up at their homes and demands them to take off their T-shirts.
I think he calls it the soft knock, where you go and you knock on the door and then you shoot them. Yeah. It all seems very rude.
The notice of "fuck off, we're full" from Australia One was signed off with kind regards, which is a nice way of saying "fuck you."
Yeah, it's classic business speak for we are not friends, but I address you here in the nicest possible.
Warmest compliments.
Yeah, warmest suck my ass. And the thing about this, in retrospect, is that it seems that Bosi is basically just a weird sort of broke guy whose brain is so riddled with worms. He can't live a normal life now. I mean, fuck, he's
got to have had a couple of worms, I reckon, just gnawing away there for a while.
I wonder if he's got a day job or something, maybe like in a fucking, like a warehouse or some shit, or he's just living off his carer's pension, but he's got no fucking money. I mean, like, he spends his time dressing up for these delusional Rumble broadcasts to genuinely cooked people trying to really focus on the fucking lunatics. But he's also trying to keep a roof over his head. Guru's got his boat. Como John's got his boat. The
pancakes.
Romeo Georges seems to own a house in Western Sydney. He seems pretty happy with, smokes a lot of cigarettes, whatever. And this is the thing, man. Like, not only is he keeping a roof over his head, but that of his bride, who requires a high degree of care due to a disability. I don't really know the ins and outs of her disability. I'm not a huge cooker watcher, to be fair. But he's getting a carer's pension, and that really does not put a dent when the rental crisis is fucking us all over. It's really expensive. Landlords are getting a bit greedy. If any landlords listening to this right now, be nice to your tenants, please. And this is the thing.
What if they're Ricky Bosi?
No, well, I do have less sympathy. But even then, I mean, like, he's got to just, it's sad.
I'll be jacking up the rent on Ricky.
Yeah.
Sorry, champion.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Or an O'Neig's.
That'll be another 50% up.
Yeah. Once you go in there and you realise, oh, wow. Okay. The InfoWars bumper stickers.
He's going to want to put a lot of his own personality into a couple of those rooms anyway. You're going to feel a shiver up your spine when you walk in those things, even when they're empty.
By the sounds of things, you're going to have fucking spirits in the bloody walls. So look, I don't know what he did with all his Qatar contractor money, but either way, he is not having a fun time. It's quite sad. His internet doesn't even fucking work, which is the only thing he has now, getting in the suit and tie and doing a Rumble broadcast. His fucking internet doesn't even work. So, this is the saddest part that I found, that people don't even think that when his internet goes down, it's the deep state trying to intervene because he's, like, over the target. It's just sort of sad and weird that his internet doesn't work. Usually...
I mean, he's probably on the verge of homelessness, all jokes aside.
Sounds a lot like that. But with the internet, I do find it really funny that some people apparently, I think said this, that Guru was apparently intervening, trying to, fuck with Bosi.
Would you like a pancake? Would you like a pancake, mate?
Just imagine Guru there typing into the mainframe, trying to fuck with Guru's internet. Cron job, sudo /d. No, Guru barely knows how to use a phone. It is a troubling overestimation of his technical abilities.
Yeah, it's probably not going to work.
No,
probably not.
No, he's not. He's no.
Oh, and Brad Bevan, otherwise known as Stinky Brad, and not only has a warrant out for his arrest, but he made a top 14 list of Victoria's most wanted in one of Melbourne's messier council areas. Casey, basically around Dandenong, Narre Warren, that sort of part of the world, lively around there. He's wanted for contravening a community corrections order, possessing a prohibited weapon, and possessing cannabis. He's also wanted for several counts of being a very stinky, naughty boy. You know what the punishment for that is, Joel?
Oh, is that life in prison?
Big truck just pulls up, and the guys just up there with big soapy brushes and just scrub you down.
Yeah, a big scrub down and a talking to. That's what he really needs, a good fucking talking to.
He does need a good talking to, doesn't he? He's probably not going to be... He's not one of the world's great listeners, though, is he? Stinky?
No, he's not. If anything, he's rebelling. So what you want to do is you want to walk up to him and say, Brad, I'm from the government and I want you to commit more crime.
Get your arms above your head so we can get at those armpits.
But if you told him I'm from the government and I want you to commit more crime, he'd be like, fuck you. I'm never going to commit a crime again. Fuck you. And you'd be like, problem solved.
That's the way to rehabilitate him, actually.
Just when you've got opposition defiant disorder, make them oppose the wrong thing. Anyway, so look, I just think it's impressive that he managed to make a list of any kind, really. He's number 13.
Casey's most wanted.
He fucking scraped in.
There's a lot of competition out there, I'll be honest with you, Joel.
Yeah, and the charges on the others weren't really strong. And I tell you what, those mugshots were fucking dire. It feels very American to have mugshots. They have newspapers in the States where you can buy them from service stations, which are actually criminal newspapers with the mugshots of the people who have been charged that week, not like even fucking like proven guilty or anything.
and bond jumpers as well,
and stories of their capture and arrest.
You can just hunt these people down yourself.
It's the craziest shit. If you ever want to see the most crazy fucking thing, these mugshot newspapers in the States are fucking wild. But anyway, look, I think the reason why he got to number 13 instead of just being number 30 on an obscure list is because he's a very stinky, naughty boy.
He is a bit smelly.
And he needs to behave himself, and he needs a good talking to. Go turn yourself in, Brad. You need a talking to.
Well, do you like to beat children, Joel?
Yes.
I mean nasty, prolonged sadism.
Oh.
I hasten to add, But a bit of a whack with a broom handle or a Maori martial arts weapon when the little buggers really step out of line.
What is a Maori martial arts weapon, though? Because I don't want to agree to that unless I know.
It looks a bit like a broom handle.
Okay. It doesn't involve a blade or anything, does it?
No.
I don't want to get weird. Okay.
See, this all came up when a South Auckland primary school volunteer admitted to whacking 8 students with a stick during what was described in the New Zealand Herald as an overly zealous lesson about Maori weaponry.
Oh wow! So this is an interesting spin. Okay, cool.
Then tried to withdraw his guilty pleas, claiming the court system had no jurisdiction. Where's your jurisdiction? You got no jurisdiction.
Okay.
He has now lost another round in a nearly 5-year legal battle to have the charges thrown out. The NZ Herald reports. Good luck with the Maori.
Yeah, I know. Chris Karatiana Wirimu pleaded guilty. Wirimu pleaded guilty in February 2021 to 8 counts of assault on a child. But because Chris is, or rather became, a subset, the whole unfortunate episode of a little bit of child abuse has now gone on back and forth in the courts for almost 5 years.
Court documents state Wirimu was teaching a Maurakau lesson, I probably mispronounced that too, to a group of primary school students in October 2019 when he pulled aside 12 children, 8 of whom became the complainants, and put them in a line.
Okay.
You went down the line one by one, swinging a long piece of wood similar to a broom handle that was directed at the legs of the children, and you demanded they jump.
Wow. Okay,
That was according to Manukau District Court Judge Jane Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
Several of the children, she said, were hit in the leg as a result. You also poked the wood into the chest of some of the children. Primary school children, folks, just a reminder. This left several of the children, the judge said, in pain and visibly upset. 4 of the children had bruising to their legs that was visible. 6 of the children reported they cried. So overall, not very nice.
No.
So he basically held the stick up and said, if you don't jump over it, you're going to get hit by it.
Well, look, I can relate to this. I don't want to digress too much because I've been waffling very hard this episode, but Mr. Goldschmidt at Glen and Rudolph Steiner School, when we did Eurythmy, which is rhythmic walking, and I wish I was fucking kidding, my partner calls Steiner the walking school as a result. We had these steel.
I'm beginning to understand you a little bit better, Joe.
I was only there for a year, but fuck, it left a mark, literally. We had these brass rods, right? And we would use these to use as a part of our rhythmic walking. You'd use them to swing around and shit. He also used to throw them at us regularly.
Well, we had capital punishment at our school, Joe.
It does.
Capital punishment every Tuesday around at the year level master's home. Anyway,
that is fucked.
You go on.
Okay, so Chris, I'm just going to say Chris because I'm copping out of the Maori stuff here. Chris was a respected instructor of the Maori martial art known as Mau Rakau. Cool. It appears from multiple court documents obtained by the Herald that he would have, in all likelihood, received a discharge without conviction and perhaps permanent name suppression for the charges had it not been for one thing, his refusal to cooperate with court officials based on an Indigenous spin on the controversial sovereign citizen defense popularized by conspiracy theorists in US courtrooms.
That is the NZ Herald trying to explain subsets to the normies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said, I fully understand that there's these laws that are presented in front of me.
Mm-hmm. However,
where are those laws that are consistent with my ancestors? He asked through a Te Reo Maori interpreter. He speaks English, but he's got the interpreter. Anyway, during his September 2022 sentencing hearing, during which he represented himself after firing 2 consecutive lawyers. I will never fully agree with the conviction that is the case before me today. Never. What's going on? At the end of the day, he told the judge, I will continue to be treated as a slave under your laws.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
Anyway.
Well, the judge ordered 6 months supervision and he's finally been sentenced.
That's it. He's got 6 months supervision. Wiramu's first sentencing hearing in August 21 was reset after he failed to appear. Uh-oh.
Okay.
And a hearing that followed days later was reset because a Maori interpreter was not on hand. Can't speak English. It's a bit of a front, really.
Just fucking
anyway,
choosing, yeah.
at other hearings, he complained the interpreter provided didn't speak the same dialect as him.
Okay.
Now we know why. he's opted for the translator, and so might not have been up to the task of relaying the nuances of what he was trying to convey. Lengthy delays caused by the COVID-19 Delta variant outbreak followed, but he was up for sentencing again in March 2022. And that hearing was derailed after he handed the judge a large pile of documents entitled Counterclaim and Affidavit of Truth.
Oh, God.
Challenging the jurisdiction. No jurisdiction. You got no jurisdiction,
No jurisdiction, mate. No jurisdiction. Oh,
and seeking to withdraw his guilty plea. He's already pleaded guilty, but I've had a bit of a rethink.
Yeah. I've looked at some internet sites. I've looked at some Rumble videos.
I've spent a lot of time in chat rooms.
Decision, yeah. Rod Cullerton called me.
During a follow-up hearing 3 months later, Wiramu argued his Tahoe and Ngati Ranganui heritage. Apologies to any Maori listeners here.
No,
terrible
huge
pronunciation.
Suck.
Heritage meant he is not bound by post-colonial law.
Okay. Going full sob-sit somewhere between 20 and 2021, Chris refused to engage, insisting through his translator that the court had no jurisdiction over him, which would have been fun. As a translator, you're like, you've got no jurisdiction. Are you sure?
He's just sitting back with the arms crossed, saying, "I have said my. I
big
have,
old fuck you grin. I
have said my bit."
Yeah, exactly.
So, and no
you're
jurisdiction.
lucky I said my name.
No jurisdiction whatsoever. If a free man, Joel, can't freely lash out and belt a few kids after he's had a bad day, I mean, where are we going as a society?
I totally agree.
I mean, this is one of these test cases, I reckon.
Well, Mr. Goldschmidt would be very, very interested in this because I'm sure if he's still teaching, which I fucking doubt, he would be really interested to know whether he can still beat kids or not.
There may be one or two consequences is coming his way.
Yes, exactly. So
anyway, your man Chris, he had a bit to say in the courtroom.
He did. So this is a quote right from the beginning. It has been just really frustrating process.
What, the beginning when you actually hit the kids, or being charged?
No, that's the best part. Hitting the kids is the best part. I felt wronged by at the beginning, and it's just continued to feel that way. How come there isn't any law that recognises the importance and the value of these Tonga that have been descended down from our ancestors? Where is it? Where are they?
Good questions.
I will continue to still stand in my self-sovereignty and determination. I will continue to stand on my manner. I will continue to stand in all who I am, regardless of the outcome of the sentencing. I will continue to be who I am as an ambassador or a fuck you. Rangatiratanga. Actually, it wasn't that hard. Or Rangatiratanga for those that continue to uphold the manner and continue to share those Taonga Tuku Iho, brackets, cultural heritage to our people.
Just stop you there, Joel. And as mana, M-A-N-A, is a little bit like heritage as well, sort of ancestry, if you like.
Okay. It's magic to most nerds. Mana's like the points of magic you get in like Dungeons and Dragons and shit. And it's also the name of a movement run by a woman named Chrissy Firemane, who is a cooker of the highest order, and I believe used to live with my sister.
Interesting. That. And I wonder if it's taken from it. It is a sort of Maori concept of a little bit like heritage, a little bit like ancestry. Yeah.
She's very, very wellness cooker and very I'm enlightened, spiritual, and blah blah blah. And but then again, she loves coal. Cool. All right, why not? I mean, cool mix. So Chris added that he's not a bad person. He blamed the school, which cannot be named for legal reasons, for not supporting him when the parents of the children complained, saying, I know how to take care of children.
Well,
take care of them.
He does.
Take care of them.
The shit out of them, Joe.
take care of them.
Belted
Good.
them by the dozen.
That's right. Lined them up. Problem solved. At least he's
Wiramu, who
efficient.
pleaded guilty in 2019 and would have
then
walked
withdrew
away
that.
without conviction had he left it at that,
Yeah.
pushed on to the New Zealand Court of Appeal, where he went the no jurisdiction argument. No, where's your jurisdiction?
Classic.
Oh, you've got no. You just can't tell me. He went that again. And guess what, Joe? He lost again.
Aww.
The judgment in part read, this argument, that is Wiramu's argument, was advanced on a combination of the sovereign citizen theory and the proposition that through his wakapapa, and that is also, I did look into that, that's basically his credentials.
Okay.
He is not subject to the jurisdiction of the courts. So she said that was his argument.
Okay.
The argument was advanced on a combination of the sovereign citizen theory and the proposition that through his wakapapa he is not subject to the jurisdiction of the courts. Appellate Justice Patricia Courtney explained in the recently released decision, which was authored alongside Justices Rachel Dunningham and Simon Moore. It's getting quite serious now.
So he ends up with 6 months supervision after this one. So he's, he's out and about. He's still got the ability to beat kids, but they're watching.
Really's happened. And of course he represented himself.
Of course.
Belting kids used to be compulsory at the schools I went to, so I might be a bit more forgiving than you are, Joel. What he did was wildly abusive and unnecessary, but he probably caused no great physical harm at least. The point is, he pleaded guilty, turned sob-sit between the guilty plea and the sentencing, and 5 years later, he's got a national profile as a convicted kiddie belter.
Ooh, that is
He could have just walked away and had his name suppressed.
It's a Streisand effect, isn't it?
And now everyone knows.
And he's funny because, this is the thing. He's had these long,
keep your
drawn-out
weapon.
humiliations in the court.
Don't let him tool up around your kids.
Well, yeah, but no one would really know about it. And because the way in which these long drawn out humiliations work in the court is that he will be reported on each fucking steps of his making because he's funny and court reporters probably really enjoy this. But the thing is, he just keeps on getting back up for more because he's just he's a subset of the highest nature.
Look, it's supposed to be over with the sentencing, but who knows?
Well, look, can he appeal?
I don't think. Will he take it to the High Court? There'll be the New Zealand High Court is where he could go next.
But you've got to have a point of law on
that. Where he was at the NZ Court of Appeal is kind of like your state Supreme Court.
Yeah,
he's gone to the full bench of the Supreme Court.
Full bench, Jesus Christ. I guess if you were to take it to the High Court, your argument would be something along the lines of jurisdiction over him as a Maori because of his culture, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't think it heard.
It's not gonna advance. But it might. Fingers crossed. Look, he may be new to the caper, but he is a true soft sit, to the core. Running around wasting everyone's time with his bullshit in a matter that could have ended without a fuss 5 years ago. Where am I, you fucking idiot? And that takes us to the scoreboard. The man, 6 months, subset 0. Another stunning come from behind over 5 fucking years loss from the sovereign citizen movement, to whom I ask, subsets, will there ever be a rainbow?
It has been a huge week in Pete Evans with, and I quote, a troubling video of Pete Evans performing a bizarre sunrise dance has sparked new concern.
Warning, not for the squeamish.
Are you concerned?
Don't just go and flip that open, listeners. You really need to steel your resolve to look at it.
It is kind of a funny video. But look, I'm just going to thank the fine journalists at the Daily Mail for that.
Yeah, they love him, don't they? They really do love him.
Working overtime, just, checking Instagram profiles and reporting on the big stories. So Pete popped up in the press again because his wife filmed him doing a bizarre dance where he apparently mocked her morning routine. That's fine. She does exercise. That's great. She's quite fit.
What's going on with his head and his haircut, Joel?
Yeah, he's a weird guy. But look, he lives in the middle of nowhere and he doesn't really have to...
He's got a mohawk.
To be fair, I'm not well kept either, but he really almost tries to look like shit. So, according to the Daily Mail, he wasn't wearing underpants under his tracksuit pants. I don't know how they know that.
Did not notice that.
Don't see how that works, but look, I'm sure this adds an entire layer of concern to this troubling video. I'm troubled. I'm very troubled. You sound troubled.
Yeah, I'm troubled.
Very troubled.
It is a troubling video.
while Pete does look slightly unhinged in the video, which, to be honest, is his fucking problem, and he may very well be suffering from a prolonged case of severe cabin fever because...
Well, he doesn't... He doesn't enjoy the company of others so much.
I don't know. Like he surfs with Onegs, allegedly. I think he goes to yoga.
That can't be fun.
I don't know. Every time he leaves the house, the fucking Daily Mail reports on him. So look, it's difficult to say this is news. I'm just going to say that. But Pete did post a link to the article because he fucking loves turning up in the media with a little post below that says this:
rent free, and then there's three index fingers pointing upwards, and the laughing emojis, 3 of them.
The laughing, crying one. So he's not wrong, to be fair. He really does live rent-free in the heads of very clickbaity media. But he also posts a video further down the chat with the caption of this. And this is the video of him doing the wacky dance.
Speaking of morning routines, Nick captured mine yesterday. It's the next big thing. All the experts, without an E and capital X, agree it is safe and effective, especially if you look directly in the sun. Also, speaking of morning routines, Nick captured mine yesterday. It's the next big thing. All the experts, one capital X, no E at the start, agree it is safe and effective, quotation marks, especially if you look directly into the sun also. I promise. Laughing emoji, tears of laughter, 2 of them, and a heart, because he loves us.
Yeah, look, I just wouldn't be making the assessment that your followers are smart enough to not look directly in the sun when you tell them to. I know you're kidding, and it's a whole play on safe and effective.
He's trained them. He's actually trained them Pavlovian style to do just exactly that. Stare at the sun. Look at it.
I think I remember him actually saying that staring at the sun is fine as long as you do it briefly or some shit. Anyway, look, I don't want to say anything like that because that could be actually libelous. But this really is a non-event. Look, I'm bored. Okay, so look, Pete hasn't been idle. He's still posting. Even though posting did kind of ruin his life. I don't know if you remember there was a bit of a Nazi thing. It really didn't go great. That. Yeah, he was kind of ruining it before that anyway. But it's so fucking predictable. He started off the week with this Q drop, right? And then the fact that that Trump, slip of the tongue there, right? The Trump re-truthed a post with the QAnon reference, nothing can stop what is coming. Who fucking cares? I don't care. And then there's the AstraZeneca thing, the vaccine that was pulled from the market yonks ago due to the rare severe side effect, which, was replaced by mRNA vaccines with even less chance of a serious side effect because they were more effective and they had less side effects.
We all remember that happening.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? It doesn't really matter. Like, people are making such a big deal out of this whole AstraZeneca thing. It's old news. Blood clots happened. mRNA was safer. We moved on. They still save lives. Fuck you. Blah, blah, Bitcoin is such a given when it comes to Pete's Telegram. The fact that El Salvador has been using Bitcoin as a currency has been such a massive boner to him. You can imagine. He posted this.
He should go live there. El Salvador is the glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, because they use Bitcoin. Yeah, it's not really. It's not
really.
So in 2023, 88% of Salvadorans did not use Bitcoin for transactions, despite it being legal tender since 2021. And while crypto bros fucking love the fact that El Salvador has adopted Bitcoin, the people themselves are not that stoked. See, there have been protests against the move toward Bitcoin, especially the spending of public funds to buy it. Although I will argue that the reserves of Bitcoin bought by the government has increased. Numbers around 40% have been thrown around, which is not a bad little profit.
Well, increase the reserves of cash, you mean?
Well, if you put into a dollar figure, the president himself, who is obviously spruiking this, said it was $41.6 million profit, which isn't exactly going to build a hospital.
School, it's a hospital, yeah.
Well, maybe. It's not that impressive, but it's better than nothing. I don't want to sit here and say, they sunk money into public funds into Bitcoin and then lost it. They didn't. But despite this, the IMF refused to loan to the country, which is, to be honest, not such a bad thing. The IMF are cunts. And Moody's downgraded their credit rating, which of course means that any credit they get is more expensive unless they borrow it from fucking dickhead crypto bros.
The IMF generally, I mean, you can say they're cunts, but the IMF have been bailing out countries all over the place.
Yeah, they bail them out with conditions, and the conditions are very predatory. It's a way in which basically Europe and America keep developing countries down.
Look, what happens if you don't pay your credit card bill, Joe? What happens eventually?
Eventually, I die.
Well, eventually,
In the long
they
term,
hit you
in the
up
long
for
run,
the
we're all
money
dead.
because you've basically defaulted.
Yes.
And this is what
But what they
countries
don't do is they don't tell me how to run my business. And the IMF will do that. They'll put structural adjustment programs which prevent them from having subsidies on certain products and things like that, which would help their domestic industries thrive. But this basically means that they have no tariffs and no barriers to international trade. And companies from the US can undercut the fuck out of these local producers and basically destroy them. And then they have a situation where their trade surplus goes.
It happened in
to
Sri
no-
Lanka.
to
The
nowhere,
IMF
to
has
massive
just
deficit.
renegotiated with Sri Lanka, and there's some debt forgiveness and interest forgiveness attached to that. And there are agricultural reforms in there, and they're actually good things.
Well, yes, but Sri Lanka's fucking nuts. So, yeah, that's very different.
Sri Lanka went absolutely nuts on. They basically stopped using chemical fertilizers.
We did an episode on that, didn't we?
Mm.
So
anyway, go on.
To end the digression, if you want to know about the IMF and the way they work, read Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. It is very fucking interesting and a great read. It's very spy thriller. It's good fun. So, where the fuck were we? So, look, the issue here is that we don't like to mention this, but the adoption of Bitcoin as legal currency in El Salvador has been really helpful to the already flourishing human trafficking industry in El Salvador, which, of course, human trafficking is only a problem when people you disagree with politically are doing it. But this has been a huge help to them to traffic kids, extort citizens. It's just really good. So it's a real win. So half of El Salvador is not even on the internet. Literally half of El Salvador is not on the internet.
For them to use Bitcoin.
They can't really download the fucking app. So I can see why they really love this whole wank about Bitcoin. But one thing it has increased is tourism. And the reason why is because tech bros are getting off on going there and buying McDonald's with Bitcoin. I shit you not. No wonder they fucking protest. Yeah. Imagine having a bunch of insufferable fucking Elon Musk stands. Oh, totally. But you're there and you're just trying to run a market stall selling fucking bracelets with El Salvador on them. And some fucking American cunts there going, you take Bitcoin. You're legally obliged to take Bitcoin. You're like, mate, I don't speak English and I don't take Bitcoin. I don't have a smartphone. I'm poor. But look, Pete's happy, so that's what matters, and he likes his Bitcoin.
That's all that. Sure.
And
we really were on a roll there. That is all that matters.
We've gone on so many tangents today, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun episode. So look, he's also very happy about the AstraZeneca thing, as I mentioned before. He's he's been posting a bit about that.
It actually is proof that the system works.
Exactly. They pulled it from market because it was vaguely unsafe.
Because there were unacceptable levels. I mean, I think there's a class action that's basically going to fall over. A lot of people have withdrawn from it because they know in the UK and they know they can't basically get through the law. But there were quite a lot of fatalities. I think 9 here. And I think a good deal more because AstraZeneca was an Oxford University product. It was the first of the vaccines rolled out.
Yeah,
and
backed
went
by
into a lot of
Gates.
British arms early on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, it saved several lives, which is great. But for example, on Pete's timeline, he posted a thing of sex pest Russell Brand, who said that AstraZeneca were actually settling lawsuits on cancer as a result of the vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just gonna throw it out there and say, I reckon they're probably settling for zero and saying we won't make you pay costs.
You're going to have to prove that, guys.
Yeah, and I'd say they'd probably say look, if you want to pay our costs, go ahead, but you have no basis for this and we'll destroy you.
We will put in a cost order.
It will blow your mind.
Before we even start. That'll mean you will need to pay your solicitor a significant amount of money to hold in his trust account so we can have it when you lose.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Not that I don't think you should be able to sue the shit out of Big Pharma when you can.
Yeah, sure. And it happens, and it does happen.
It does
frequently.
And usually no win, no fee, or backed by funders.
You cannot talk about AstraZeneca. Yes, there were issues around particularly around cardiac events.
Yeah, and the blood clots, the
we're not talking about cancer. That's just absolute bullshit.
It's fucking stupid. Well, they're actual turbo cancers, so real bad.
The turbo cancer.
Yeah. It's the V12 cancer. Real nice. It's got a fancy muffler that makes it louder. Anyway, so Pete's decided to editorialize on the AstraZeneca thing and say this.
Only a matter of time until all the pharma companies are exposed. There are simple solutions to all these health issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just eat beef.
Yeah. get your newborn on the
beef broth and the liver.
on the beef broth.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So
Off
this
you go.
motherfucker is going to have a wild time. I don't know if he'd chuck a guru and actually not get treatment, but if he gets sick, I hope kombucha fixes the cancer. You fucking simpleton. Because honestly, and the way in which this influenced people, I got a friend whose mum has cancer and she's choosing to not get treatment because she's seen some YouTube videos. And it's this cunt and his fucking mates that make that happen.
That's what I hate about this. Look, cancer treatment's really hard. I've never had chemo. Other people have. I know how hard it can be. I just had surgery, which is pretty hard. But then you go chemo and radio. It's a big undertaking, and you really need a lot of courage to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you don't want at that stage when you're girding your loins to make this, to commit to this, is just some creep coming along and say, I can cure your cancer just by drinking beef broth.
Yeah. She's like, this person's mum is actually going on a keto diet because she thinks it's going to cure the cancer. Because the sugar feeds it. It's a classic truth about cancer type thing. Anyway, so look. At least Peter's finally remembered that Australians exist, because between posts about Biden, Trump, and crappy Fox News clips, he's finally given us a mention. Us little old Australians.
Heavily Americanised, Pete.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic. So he's just been reposting shit from Gerard Rennick. But hey, at least it's something. I mean, like he's still...
It's local content.
Mentioning us. It was a TGA thing, apparently. So all of these are punctuated by pointless comments about how it's all a show. This is a recurring theme. It's usually like a popcorn thing. There's a show thing, blah, blah, blah. So he's really on the show thing. He posted this.
What a fascinating time to be alive and not only watch the all in caps show as it unfolds, but to be a part of it. You're not a part of it, Pete.
Not really.
You deliberately decided to step out of it.
Kind of were. Yeah. Anyway, that's fine. And later explains under a video from Sky News about AstraZeneca being officially pulled from the market. He says this.
When I say what a, in caps again, show, this is what I'm referring to. All the corruption, deception, dishonesty, lies, agendas, etc. It's agendum. Fucking moron. Are being shown, all in caps again, to the public one small step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Some could see through it all from day one. Someone with the vision, the
brilliance
scope.
Of Pete. Yeah. It reeked of just a fucking
could see it all from day one, and others will need to watch more of the all in caps show for it to sink in. The coming years will, she's going with the theme here, show, all in caps, more and more of what has been hidden to many for so long. Enjoy the all in caps show. Heart, heart, heart. It's not a very loving thing, is it? It's not. I mean, he puts out the heart emoji, so I don't think he's sincere.
I don't feel it. I never feel it, especially when it's that thing like it's bracketed by some sort of like transphobic quip, or just retweeting some, or reposting something on Telegram, which is just cruel and unnecessary. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not feeling your love and light today, Pete. I feel like you're bookending your bigotry with nature, and I don't feel like that's actual love and light. I don't think Jesus would like this. But look, I'm just going to say, that was underneath a Sky News clip. Once again, thank you for coming back to Australia. We miss you. But Pete, I'm not fucking enjoying the show. We have relied on you to make the end of this show funny for years now. That wasn't a funny segment. When you started to get a bit boring, we threw Babbitt in there to mix it up a bit. And to be honest,
we should capitalise our show. SHOW, all in caps.
Maybe it'll make us more interesting. Maybe some cookers will start tuning in. But look, while Babbitt is still very funny and he is a world of content, I've got to the point with Babbitt where I just find like he's funny but in like a sad kind of way, like gross.
Yeah, you really are laughing at him.
But it's like a Tristan Tate, like an Andrew Tate, like a fucking, like really like stuff that I just don't like. Jordan Peterson. I'm like,
He's very unattractive, man.
This isn't funny. This is gross. It's like, it's unpleasant. So I just want to say, please don't make us report on Babbitt. Pick up your fucking game, Pete. This is your segment. Don't lose it to that fucking real estate agent.
You're going to need something better than this show nonsense.
And a dance? Like, at least you're trying to be funny with your dumb shit dance. But, like, it didn't really do much for anyone outside the Daily Mail battery farm. But I just don't get anything from you anymore, Pete. Come on, Pete.
Stories. I actually scrolled from the top of their website to the bottom.
Wow.
The Daily Mail last week.
I didn't know you could. I thought it was eternal.
That's like about 2 hours I won't get back.
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, so we'll see how we go, but Babbitt gives me the creeps and Pete's just boring. Maybe we'll do an RFK Jr. segment. I don't know.
It's really letting a segment down.
Yeah.
And you have been listening to the Conditional Release program with your host, Jack the Insider and Joel Hill. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed our bullshit, throw us a 5-star review on your podcast app.
Jack can be found on Twitter on @JackTheInsider and Joel at CrunchyMoses with a K. Set up a Facebook page you can find fairly easily, but promoting a podcast is easier said than done. So if you would share this episode or a past episode that you especially enjoyed on social media, we'd be eternally grateful. And I want to say this quickly. I mean it. Come on. Give us a hand.
Jesus Christ.
Amplify our shit. We can't self-promote. It's gross. It's weird. It's like masturbating in a mirror. Come on. Please just give us a boost.
The Patreon is up and running, and we ask listeners to consider throwing a few dollars our way.
Yes, for as little as $5 a month, you have access to all sorts of bonus content, and you'll feel all warm and fuzzy for helping us out. We just recently had a $25 patron jump on Troy. I don't know if I can give him a shout out because I didn't actually ask. But his first name is Troy.
Just dox the man.
Well, his name's Troy. That's nothing. I'll contact him and see if he wants us to say something stupid. But we still get obsessive people. Most of our 25 guys signed up at the start and have stayed on, which is beautiful. But good Lord, thanks, man. I saw that and I was like, fuck, do you want me to send you a vial of blood? Jesus. Thanks, man.
Well,
anyway.
You can have my bladder, but it's
not great.
It's not great.
It's not great, if anything.
And finally, all feedback, tips and death threats should be sent to the Conditional Release program at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, even if it's to tell us that you found a worm in your brains. And the only way to kill it is to eat a fuckload of tuna fish sandwiches.
Just do it.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's fine. Get your flu jab, eat some tuna fish sandwiches. It's
Roll
tuna fish.
And have a tuna fish sandwich.
It'll be fine. Throw some swordfish in there. Live a little.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Big one. See ya.
I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
Fuck me!